Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm Beck, and Mary has joined us.
Hello.
She blossomed over where Dan was
I
sitting.
kind of missed talking to Dan. We've gotten our trees from him every year, and it's always amazing. It's always, we have a family photo with Dan every year.
Yeah.
Wow.
For Christmas.
Yep, for Christmas. It's just fun, and he always waves at the camera. He said he does that because at a wedding one time, there was a big group of people and they couldn't find anybody, and he thought, well, if I wave at the camera, they'll always find me. And so he waves in every one of our Christmas photos, and it's just, we just love going there.
The Dan Cashman wave. So
Yes.
yeah. So it was fun having him on, and we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the Ministry of Truth. Although the government is calling it, what is it? The Ministry of
Disinformation, isn't it?
Disinformation Governance Board. Disinformation Governance Board, because, yeah, like we need it, right? Because the left is censoring us and canceling us. So just what we need for the Biden administration to do to us. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, because if you read the novel George Orwell's 1984, there was a Ministry of Truth in order to control the information that was being fed to everybody. And we kind of feel that way sometimes. I mean, how many times, Mary, we try to post things on Facebook and we've been warned or canceled or disciplined in some way?
Yeah, and that's why our Facebook page doesn't grow real fast, because nobody can find us. In fact, if I even put in Ladies of Another View, it won't even come up. It says page unavailable, and then I have to click it a second time. So they really don't want you to find us on social media. We were growing by the thousands in the first few months, and then all of a sudden it just really slowed down. We have a lot of viewers, and our Facebook is, I mean, the one post we had, it was over 100,000 likes. And then after that, it's like they found out that we were too conservative for them. So then, boom, so it's called shadow banned. We've been shadow banned.
And Elon Musk just bought Twitter. And you know what he has said? He has said, I just want to stick with the Constitution. Whatever free speech is, I'm going to follow the law of what free speech is. So if you do something dangerous, threatening, you can't do that. But the left has gone crazy. People have left Twitter. And so now, with this all going on, who is going to trust that the government is getting a board of disinformation, just like the Ministry of Truth? And well, Obama seems to be behind it. Go ahead, Carmen.
Well, no, who gets to decide what is truth? Who gets to decide what is disinformation? I think that's what we really need to go back to. And then it gets right back to there is no absolute truth anymore, because my truth might not be your truth, and it's all okay. And all that verbiage that we hear over and over and over in our society today, except you've got your power players that are going to control the narrative to the masses. And that's what's scary about this to me. So,
you know what's especially scary is, so Alejandra Mayorkas testified during a budget hearing, and she's the Homeland Security Secretary. She is the secretary. She said that Disinformation Governance Board has recently been created to fight the spread of disinformation on the internet. But this is the same person who said that Hunter Biden's laptop was disinformation. The things they have called, when we can't post about COVID information, that maybe it leaked from a Wuhan lab, and we are penalized for that. This is not free speech. And so that's our concern. And Obama has been talking about this for a while. He was at the Disinformation Conference in Chicago 3 weeks ago.
I just can't believe it. I just want to bang my head against the wall, but go ahead.
So here is a little bit of what he said, because he said, yeah, I know these corporations are trying to correct it, but, well, this is what he said. 10 seconds here.
But while content moderation can limit the distribution of clearly dangerous content, it doesn't go far enough.
Yeah, but let's listen to what somebody else says, one of our representatives. Just take a quick look.
Americans simply know the truth. President Biden puts illegal aliens first and Americans last. And the Biden administration is actively working to cover up that truth. Today, we learned that Biden's Department of Homeland Security is creating a disinformation governance board, which will be led by political hack Nina Jankowicz. This is nothing more than a blatant attempt to install a ministry of truth in order to push Biden's propaganda, lies, and radical agenda while concealing and censoring the truth about what is really happening at the southern border. Mr. Speaker, This is seriously dangerous and wholly unconstitutional, which is why I am demanding that Congress immediately investigate.
You see, though, what he's saying there, thank goodness for C-SPAN that he gets to say his side of it, you know, flip side of the coin. And then I read this about this gal that's going to head that discredited the whole Hunter Biden thing. But then in Congress, you've got a Representative Underwood, Democrat from Ohio, saying that, you know, organizations are peddling misinformation to exploit vulnerable migrants. Then you've got, she added, foreign adversaries attempt to destabilize our elections by targeting people of color with disinformation campaigns. They're already wrapping the whole race issue into this because that strengthens their narrative. And, you know, I'm so tired of that piece that, and then it goes on to say that we're heavily targeting Spanish-speaking Americans with disinformation when it comes time to vote. And now they're already gearing up because the midterms, there's all this disinformation being put out there. And especially, you know, like anything to do with the election, that maybe there was some fraud or something, that's all false, and we need to take care of that. We need to get rid of that. It's all so one-sided for what is disinformation. It's already coming out, you know. So we really need to pay attention to. You better go somewhere else to find your news. If you're looking for mainstream, you're probably not going to hear the whole story, you know.
Yeah, that is true. And I feel like maybe this is their way of trying to make conservative people feel better. You know, they're giving us something that should feel good, but they're still the ones controlling it. So truly, it's just another way for them to censor us even more than they already do. You know,
The way I always look at it is just years ago, just growing up, and you saw the National Enquirer at the grocery store, and you knew that it was all BS, all right? So then, but you might read it because you're curious about this or whatever it is, but it's still up to you to do a little bit of research to find out what is true and what is not true, because what they're going to tell you is not true is probably true. And just like the Hunter Biden laptop, it is true, but they're already coming out saying it is not true. So that's where you have to do your own research. It's true, or just follow us. I mean, we try to get the truth out. But again, go ahead, do your research. That's what it's for, if you can find it. And ignore stories like the National Enquirer. And that's what social media is right now. You really have to pick and choose what you can and can't believe, but it's up to you as an individual to find that out.
You know, something funny, Mary, is I used to write for the National Enquirer.
Oh boy.
And I didn't use my real name because I didn't want to use
Of course you didn't.
But I stopped writing for them because they would take a story like a dog being saved from going, you know, at the animal shelter was going to be put to sleep, and instead it became a Disney dog. And they said, oh, we have to have everything on tape, we have to check everything. And then they changed one little piece of the story to suit themselves, and it was false. And so I said, you know what, I'm not going to sell my soul to the National Enquirer. They paid really well. But I thought, you know what, it's not worth it to me. So that's just it. They do what's convenient, but they do it just to sensationalize.
But they take a tidbit of fact. So they do take the facts, but then they embellish everything else around it. So technically it is a true story. They started with a true story, but it doesn't end with a true story. So just 10% of it might be true, and the rest is all embellished. And that's the problem that I have.
Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, do not read the National Enquirer. Absolutely do not.
But
watch
But I'm
back.
comparing it to social media. That's
Yeah.
what social media is. You don't know. And then they have the websites like the Babylon Bee, which I love, by the way, is satire because that's me. I love that kind of stuff, but you have to really pick and choose. Some people think the Babylon Bee is true, and it's not. And so that's where I feel sorry for those that can't distinguish between a true and a false story.
You know what they started doing? They have Not the Bee. There's the Babylon Bee, then they have Not the Bee, and those are stories that you think can't be real, but they are, and it's not the bee. So,
Wow.
yeah, but okay, before we leave, I want to show you a tweet, why we need to worry about the Ministry of Truth. Look at this. Adolf Hitler had a Ministry of Truth. Joseph Goebbels, Joseph Stalin, Joseph Biden has a Ministry of Truth. So there's a trend here.
Wow.
And it's
Don't
not.
That's powerful.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Powerful. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't name your
definitely.
kids Joe.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that I even
Joseph
said that.
is a good name.
And again,
yeah.
I was just kidding.
I know.